Okay, welcome to today's class. Everything you need to know about marketing, but we're afraid to ask. The idea today is to go through some basic concepts and dive into a few more detailed ideas and things that you should really be focusing on that might spark some new ideas for yourselves. Now, there's no single marketing method that will work for every single realtor. So the idea is to take a concept and make it your own, to take that little snippet and run with it and make it your own and apply it really just to how it works with your business. So initially, we will start off with some basic tools that you should either have already or be considering as part of your business. Number one is an IDX website. That means a website that a consumer can search available properties, request information, but are pretty limited as to how much they can actually look at before they are able to view full content. They should have some type of lead capture, meaning that after they look at 2 listings or spend 3 minutes on the website or click through 5 pages, there will be a pop-up that says, in order to continue, we're happy to have you here, but in order to continue, please provide your name, your phone number, and your email address, because that's the name of the game for us. We want data. We want contacts to be able to keep in our database and follow up with. More contacts means a longer reach. A longer reach increases our total percentage or possibility for generating customers, actual customers from those contacts. Now, if you do have a website and you're not sure what to do with it, or you don't have a website at all and would like to get started, we do have 2 classes that are coming up next month on June 21st and 29th. They're broken down into a 2-part session because it is going into very, very deep details onto the creation and setup of a website, the optimization, marketing, and driving traffic to the website as well. That's being run by Tommy Forcella. He is one of our top 1% gross selling realtors in our company, very top earner, and all of his business primarily comes from traffic to his website, optimization from his website, and capturing and nurturing those leads. So really, really great resource for you if you have any interest in running marketing through a website or doing some digital marketing, which you really should be. Now, another tool that you must have which is commonly offered and included with some type of website system, is a CRM, a consumer relationship manager. And some of these are built into the back ends of your website, like Market Leader, like Real Geeks, like iHouse Web, even Playster has a basic one. But you must have a CRM. And the ones that I really focus on recommending are the ones that utilize some type of artificial intelligence, like Lion Desk, Lion like the king of the jungle, Lion Desk. That has some artificial intelligence built into it. And what I mean by that is it has some tools and some programs that are constantly scanning the traffic and the usage of consumers that are on your website. For example, how many pages they're viewing, how much time they're spending on the website, what they're looking at, and their other browsing traffic, because they're planting cookies on the consumer's computer, following them around. Just like when you do a Google search for a wool sweater, and then all of a sudden you're reading CNN News and there's advertisements about buying wool sweaters. It's implanting something that's tracking you on your computer, which is a common tactic utilized by Google and Facebook. It's now being commercialized, let's say, to the realtor for your personal websites. So make sure there's some type of artificial intelligence to the CRM that you're utilizing. Or if you don't have one, you do have a CRM, but it doesn't have artificial intelligence, continue with it. You're doing the one item, continue with it. The best CRM is the one that you actually use. Now, in addition to artificial intelligence, CRMs, the majority of them have this capability now, so it's not necessarily something you really have to look deep into. But your CRM should be able to automatically import all contacts from multiple sources. For example, you're doing Realtor.com zip codes. All those leads should automatically populate in your CRM. You're doing Zillow. You're doing from your website. You're doing Facebook ads. All of those should automatically pull into that one CRM so that you're only going into one database. There is no way anyone can maintain logging into 3 or 4 different CRMs on a consistent basis and truly staying in front of the customers. You need one source to go into and manage all of that contact, to manage all of the tasks you have to do for the day, to manage all of your drip campaigns and follow-up messages, which is the final item on the CRM. It's having some type of drip campaign platform built into it, which 99.9% of CRMs do, but some of them are more intricate and detailed than others are. For example, Market Leader has a lot of pre-built campaigns. It's really a plug-and-play solution that allows you to utilize their pre-programmed drip campaigns, which are primarily emails, so it's very singly focused. My favorite is, again, LionDesk. LionDesk doesn't have too many pre-built campaigns, but it does have some that you can customize and make your own. But the real benefit from LionDesk, in my opinion, is it includes text messaging and video text messaging in addition to emails as part of their ability for drip campaigns through their platform. So not only are you hitting them by email, but you can utilize other methods like text messages and video text messages that you save in there and utilize on an ongoing basis. I think for the $25 per month that LionDesk charges, you get 1,000 text messages a month, which is stellar. Even if you're hitting your customers once a month by text message, and I think the next 1,000's an extra $20. So it's very, very affordable solution if you need a standalone CRM and you don't have one with your current website. Or maybe your current website has one, but it's not a very good program and you can afford in your budget, your marketing budget, to spend that extra $25 a month. It's not a huge expense, but sometimes every dollar counts. So that is an option to look into. If you don't have a pre-built drip campaign as part of your CRM, use the internet, search, Google. There's tons of different campaigns out there from successful realtors who have some templates that they allow you to utilize. Don't use it word for word. It's not your personality. It was their personality. Read what they had, make it your own, twist it into your own words, and apply it to how you would feel comfortable speaking or what you would feel comfortable doing and saying to a customer. The third basic tool you must have or need to consider are social business pages. That includes a Facebook business page and an Instagram business account. Now, Instagram doesn't allow you to necessarily have a business page for your account, but it does allow you to have a specific account that you can post through. Now, I know this can be daunting, posting on multiple different social media platforms, but there are tools out there. One of the most common, it's been around for years, is called Hootsuite, Hootsuite. Now, Hootsuite has a free platform that allows you to manage 3 separate social media outlets through that free platform and post to them simultaneously. So instead, just like we said, one CRM to manage all of your incoming contacts, one resource, Hootsuite, to post on all of your pages, your business Facebook page, your business profile through Instagram. I don't think they have integrated Nextdoor yet, but if you're not on Nextdoor, that's a good one to advertise on as well. Very, very inexpensive to sponsor a neighborhood, which places your information on all the real estate listings that are searchable through that neighborhood. That's an interesting one. Nextdoor, Nextdoor. The next basic tool that you really need to have or must consider, which honestly you should really have, are professional business cards. If you don't have business cards, you should deactivate your license. You must carry business cards with you at all times. You never know when you're going to meet that next big customer, or it could be the next person who you strike a relationship up with, have a great conversation, then you're able to give them your business card. It may not necessarily be them who calls you, but it could be someone that they meet or someone they interact with, or they could know a coworker, a neighbor, a friend, anyone. You must have business cards on you. I can't stress that enough. I've been to too many networking events where I meet a realtor, say, we had a great conversation. I'd love to have lunch with you next week, or let's meet for coffee, or I love that listing. I'm going to email you to send you information. Can I have your card? Oh, I just ran out, or they haven't come yet. Guess what? That completely degrades your professional level and the confidence that I have in your professional ability in that sense. And it works the same with consumers. If you're out and you meet someone and they want to have your business card, you can't give it to them. You don't have it. That contact will never, ever happen. And saying, give me your number, I'll text you my information, it doesn't matter. They're not going to scroll back through all of their text messages to find your information. You need to have a memorable professional business card. That doesn't mean inexpensive stock, paper thin, business cards. A nice, thick, professional, possibly with a headshot business card for you to hand out in a memorable scenario. I love some of the funny shaped ones, the ones that are thinner or shaped like a credit card or designed like a credit card, or that have a unique picture in the background or a different texture. Something memorable would be lovely. But any business card that comes across as being professional, not cheap, like these $9.99 Vistaprint cards It's really not even worth the paper it's drawn on. Get a nice professional business card. I can't stress that enough. Next, some type of branding. Now, name badges is the common utilization as it pertains to real estate. But a name badge, I personally hate wearing them. So while I have one that I wear to networking events, I personally wouldn't feel comfortable walking around every day with it. So I prefer to utilize some type of branded business shirt, for example, you see here, or a polo or a Buttersoft cotton t-shirt, a V-neck that has some type of saying on it, like mom, wife, realtor. I wouldn't wear that one, but you might. Mine would say dad, husband, realtor, or I wake up in the morning and sell homes. Selling homes is my caffeine. Be smart, ask a realtor, something like that, which is inviting the public or anyone who sees me. Believe me, if there's lettering on your shirt, they are reading it. A name badge is a very, very straightforward indication that you are a realtor. That's the most common indication of a real estate professional. However, the t-shirt, the business polos, the business button downs, anything branded that says real estate, realtor, would spark a conversation with someone who has an immediate inclination or an interest in potentially selling their home, potentially buying, or just a random question. Striking up a conversation is the name of the game. Some people say that real estate is all about lead generation. I would disagree. I say that real estate and being successful in real estate is more about relationships and conversations. If you go out to a grocery store, you need to make sure by the time that you leave that grocery store, the person in front of you, the person behind you, the cashier, someone working there, another consumer, that as many people as possible know who you are, what you do, and how to get a hold of you. The easy part is how to get a hold of you. It's having a business card. Who you are and what you do comes as part of a genuine conversation. For example, don't walk up to someone in the grocery store and say, hey, are you interested in buying a house? There's no chance that you establish a quality relationship with that person. If you come to some type of conversation regarding anything, for example, you're in the line for the cash register and you see an item or they put down a bar, it's thank you very much for your courtesy. People don't commonly do that nowadays. It's really funny that you did that. And if they respond at all, it's opening the door for a conversation, not necessarily for you to talk about real estate, but to talk and build some type of connection. And then at the end of the conversation is, hey, I work in the neighborhood, or this is the area I work in. I'm a realtor. Here's my business card. If you ever have any questions, you've already established some type of conversation and relationship with that person prior to giving them your business card. It's not necessarily about the number of cards that you give out. It's more about the quality of the contacts that you're making when you give out those business cards. For example, you'll see realtors go to these networking events, these meetup groups from the Board of Realtors, that they go there with a stack of 100 business cards and say, my goal is to give out every one of these business cards and shake hands with everybody in this room. They made 100 contacts that are worth absolutely nothing. The more valuable contact, the more valuable method of networking is taking 10 business cards and saying, there's 100 people in this room. I'm going to find the 10 positive relationships that I need to create and walk out. I'd rather have a quality contact than a number of contacts. The next item that you must have, kind of, even if it's just working in your mind and having kind of a few bullet points that you want to hit, is having some type of elevator pitch. What I mean by that is a 15 to 20 second spiel on why someone should utilize you in buying their home or selling their home or looking for an investment property. What differentiates you from the other 180,000 realtors in Florida? What makes you different? How are you going to help them accomplish their goal? And you need to get that down into about 15 to 20 seconds. Because you'll have scenarios where it comes up, not necessarily for first-time home buyers, but more on the listing side, where you'll run into someone, yeah, I'm looking at selling my home, actually we're thinking about it. And that gives you an open opportunity to not only talk about your expertise in the market of where you currently are, which is most likely some type of area that you farm, but it also allows you to sell your service and your brand. Yeah, homes actually in this neighborhood is a really hot market. They're selling really quickly, an average of 25 days on market, something like that. And I find I'm really successful selling homes in under that average days on market by utilizing some really unique internet marketing possibilities or internet marketing techniques, because that's where the majority of the buyers are. having some type of elevator pitch that will establish a level of trust and confidence with the person that you're speaking to in order to capture them and make them a fan of your business. Next is some type of business or marketing plan. Now, I don't mean sitting down and saying, I want to have 5 listings this year. What do I need to accomplish there? Not necessarily. You can reverse engineer things and say, I want to make $100,000 this year. $100,000 in commission income means $3 million in sales. Okay, in order to get to $3 million in sales, the average transaction in Broward County is $250,000. That requires me to have, 4 times 3, 12 total transactions. So that I need 1 deal a month. In order to have 1 deal a month, how many leads do I have to generate, or how many listings do I have to generate? Kind of reverse engineering things when you get back to creating a certain number of contacts to be able to capitalize on and turn those people into buyers or sellers that you actually are able to close with. So setting some type of business marketing plan on setting your goal and how you're going to reach that goal, and then sticking to it. Now, part of a business and marketing plan is your motivation and what's going to drive you every day. If your sole motivation is doing something to impress those around you or to try and prove someone wrong, you will never be successful. You must be doing this and working in this industry for yourself. I always used to say, I'm in this for my family. I'm in this to earn income for my family. But in turn, I'm actually in this business for myself. I'm in here to make a living for myself and allow myself to provide for others. That is my true motivation. You must be able to believe in yourself and believe that you can be successful. There's a big difference from someone believing they can be successful and actually being successful. And it's simply one word: action. Taking action on those beliefs, enforcing the actions that will help get you to that belief of where you believe that you can go. And not being afraid to fail along the way. Don't be afraid of what could go wrong by trying something. Think about what could go right and how that could lead you to reaching your actual goal. One of the keys to a successful person, this is a famous Tony Robbins quote, one of the keys to a successful person is how long they allow themselves to feel sorry for themselves following a failure. Let's say you tried a certain marketing technique and it didn't work. Instead of kicking yourself down and, woe is me, oh, it didn't work, I don't know what I'm doing, it's forget it. Move on. That didn't work for you. Find another technique or tweak what you were doing that's similar. For example, if you've tried Facebook advertising and it didn't work for you, don't give up on it. Tweak what you're doing. Make a change. Go out there and educate yourself on different techniques that are being successful for other realtors and try it again. Don't give up. Next, sometimes when you're jumping into the real estate industry, there's 2 ways that you can get yourself going. There's either a time investment or a financial investment. And many just starting off in the industry are looking for some type of inexpensive way to either have sweat equity or build themselves in by, feet on the pavement, out on the streets, trying to build those contacts without spending or throwing a bunch of money at it. So I'm going to go over a few ways that you can expose your business and generate some contacts without spending a whole lot of money. This is one of my favorite quotes, Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank. If you have no money, you need greater knowledge. So if you don't have the money to go and throw at the business and learn while you're spending, you must have greater knowledge in how to leverage yourself to use your time and generate that business. Excuse me. The first item that's on here is local exposure. What I mean by that is being active in your local community in a multitude of ways. For example, getting active in your local homeowners association. That doesn't mean being on the board of directors for your homeowner association, but it does mean attending a meeting, speaking to those neighbors that are around you, being active on the Nextdoor community, the social media app for neighbors, joining a club or a local meetup group. Let's say you love singing, joining a karaoke club or a singing club, or going to open mic nights, something like that. Put yourself out there. We're in real estate. This is a people industry. If you're afraid to talk to new people and make new relationships, you're not going to last in this industry. You must put yourself out there. So get involved locally. Now, another way to kind of do this, and this is a spend, however, it's a minor spend, is bus benches. You wouldn't believe how well these bus benches work when picking out well-placed bus benches, of course, in areas that you are farming. Now, it's not necessarily just putting up your picture on the bus bench and saying, call Sue or call Mary, I sell houses. It's creating some type of marketing message that invokes an emotional response in the consumer that's seeing that, whether your consumer is sitting at the bus stop or driving by or stopped at a red light, or it's just another way that they see you in addition to other local marketing events, or you meet them at a community event or an association meeting, and then they drive out of the community and boom, there's your face on a bus bench on the right side or a bus stop. They're very inexpensive and easier for you to be consistent. Think more of the message that you're putting on there that invokes that emotional response. For example, I sold X amount of houses last year, or utilizing your leverage with the K company. We're doing over 350 transactions a month right now. That's incredible volume. And you as a K company agent have that ability to leverage. Instead of saying, I sold X amount of houses last year, it's Sue, K company realtor. We sold over 350 times 12. We sold over 3,500 houses last year. Boom, that's pretty powerful numbers. Here's another one. I sell a home every 36 hours. Something along those lines. Calculate the numbers back. Reverse engineer it to invoke some type of response. If you are on Trulia or Zillow or Realtor.com and you have a profile, let's say you have some testimonials or some reviews. Sue, I'm a 5-star realtor. I'm a 5-star rated realtor with the big Zillow logo on it or the Realtor.com logo on it. Trust me. That's what it's screaming. It's screaming, I know what I'm doing. People love me. Trust me. Call me. So some type of marketing message that will invoke an emotional response. Next, targeted prospecting. Now, you've all heard the Tom Ferrys or some trainers or different real estate companies that teach you about prospecting. They're all about cold calling, FSBOs, expired listings, things like that, door knocking. You could not pay me enough to do that. I cannot sit down and make 400 phone calls a day. That is just not realistic to my personality. I would be out of the industry in a couple weeks. In fact, I left the first real estate company I worked with within the first couple weeks because that's all they had me doing every day. And I did not enjoy life. So as it applies now, there's more technology that you can utilize to leverage your prospecting abilities and where you're really focusing your efforts on. If you're part of the Miami Board of Realtors, there's a program included as part of your membership called Remine, R-E-M-I-N-E. I took some time over the last couple of weeks to play with it, and I was extremely impressed with the ability, the algorithms that they utilize, allowing you to really narrow down and zero in on the homeowners that are likely to sell. Gives you a breakdown of timelines. Likely to sell within the next 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, 7 months, 1 to 5 years, 1 to 10 years, something along those lines, which allow you to focus on people who are potentially selling or possibly have only owe X percentage or have X amount of equity into their property or have lived there for X amount of years, or their owner occupants or their tenants. It's very, very interesting, the data that it's able to give you just from a simple click of a button. And you can pull up the ownership information directly through there. If you're not a member of the Miami Board, the accounts through them are not very expensive. I would take some time to check it out. Again, it's called Remine, R-E-M-I-N-E. And that allows you to either send a direct letter, a handwritten letter, knock on the door, make a phone call, but limiting the number of people that you have to call to really focus in on the ones that you're more likely to convert. Essentially, it's prospecting, but it's targeted prospecting. It's utilizing AI to focus your efforts on the ones that will actually convert instead of calling 100 people to have 2 that are actually legitimate. You can go direct to those 2 and save a lot of time. Next, open houses. This is inexpensive exposure. You have many different ways that you can host open houses. If you have a listing, great. Use it, host an open house every weekend. It may not help you necessarily sell that property, although it commonly does, but it will help you generate buyer leads. That's the whole idea. You want to generate new traffic. And how do you get buyers to come to that? Let's say I'm having an open house in a neighborhood. I will then go out and knock on the closest 50 homes around that home and invite everybody to the open house, but probably just the first one. And beyond that, I'd put out roughly 12 to 15 signs, open house signs. They don't necessarily need to be branded. They just have to say open house with pointing in a direction, all leading down to the one branded sign that you have in front of the house, including your information. I used to go buy a dozen balloons and put one helium-filled balloon on each individual open house sign. It's all about generating some type of attention and invoking an emotional response. If someone's looking at buying a house and they drive by and it says open house, oh, honey, let's drop by. Let's go look at the open house. I'm curious about the homes in this neighborhood. Boom, potential buyer right there. They may already have a realtor. However, they're coming to walk through this home, and you have the ability to build a relationship with them and capture them as a potential buyer. Now, not only can you do open houses on your own listings, but you have the ability as well to contact other K company agents who may or may not already be doing open houses and offer to do an open house for them. Say, hey, any agent, any customer that comes in with an agent, I will push your way. This will look good for them with the seller as far as how much exposure they're giving to the home, but allows you, again, the opportunity to generate some buyer leads from the people that are walking in. Now, how to actually successfully run an open house is a very long discussion, and there will be a class in June or July on that as well. Other ways that you can host open houses, we've created a relationship with D.R. Horton, who has developments throughout the state of Florida, allowing our agents to host open houses at any of their open models. The way that you would do that is contact the local sales office for the D.R. Horton community you would like to host. Go to them, schedule your open house, and again, take all of your signage, all of your branding with you and run it just as if it's your own listing. Now, what they do on those dates where there are open houses, as someone who comes into the sales office, they will say, hey, there's an open house on XYZ model down there. Why don't you go check it out? That then becomes registered as your buyer because you're hosting the open house that day. So it's another great resource for generating buyer leads if you don't have a listing. Okay. Next is advertising K company listings. Just like we talked about hosting open houses on behalf of other K company agents, you can also utilize any K company listing that's currently on the market to advertise on classified websites like Craigslist or social media. We do not allow you to advertise on real estate syndicating websites like Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com, et cetera, as that inhibits the listing agent's ability for what they're already working on. But you are allowed to use it for Craigslist and for social media, as that's capitalizing on your local sphere of influence and the network that you already have to try and bring in a buyer. So that's definitely one way to do that. Next, social media. This is a big topic, and I will speak about it till I'm blue in the face. Social media. Number one, we talked about having a business page. Your focus on your business page and your personal page, for that matter, should be content. Lots and lots and lots of content, excuse me, not contact. Now, it's important when you are creating content that you understand the different types of content that will be effective on each social media platform. For example, Twitter, as we all know from recent political items, Twitter is mostly focused on news-related snippets, small clips that lead to additional links that lead back to your page. So for example, it'd be a good idea for you to host a blog on your IDX website where you're talking about updates in the real estate industry. Could be a market update, either written or video. Could be a market update, could be mortgage rate changes, could be mortgage news, could be homeownership interests or different legislations that are up for vote regarding homeownership and protecting property tax rates, things along those lines. News updates. You'll hit a short clip on Twitter, link that back to the blog article on your website. The idea is generating more traffic. Now, Twitter is not a very commonly used one for real estate, so I'm not really going to tell you to focus a lot of time there. The next item is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is another professional network. So typically posting and content that goes on there is in relation to a job or professional item. LinkedIn is good for commercial advertising because you're hitting executives, you're hitting professionals, you're hitting business owners that could be potentially interested in the commercial aspect or the commercial properties more than necessarily residential. Facebook is primarily culture updates, photo updates, something quick and easy. For example, like hosting a live video, doing an open house, things along those lines, new listing, open house, reduced price, off-market listings, things along those lines, along with what you're doing in your day-to-day life as a realtor. Let's say you're just out showing homes. A piece of content could be showing a new home in Poinciana Heights. Great new listing just came on the market. It's not even your listing, but you're there showing it. Take your own picture, take your own live video, whatever it may be, whatever you're more comfortable with, and post about it. It provides legitimacy to your business. Your sphere of influence and the people that follow your page are out there seeing that you're out there, you're working. This is your day-to-day profession. They can trust you. This is what you do for a living. You're a professional. Just like they go to their doctor and trust their doctor for the most part, they should come to you and trust you for real estate advice. Continuously posting that on there, showing that you're active. Next is Instagram. Instagram is primarily focused on quick hit fun items like short videos and pictures with text or hashtags or following items on there. That's primarily used for a couple second clip or a quick picture. Like just I said, the open house, the fun stuff being out with a realtor, quirky things that you see out there. Let's say you see a sign with "for sale" misspelled. That's something fun and quick to put on Instagram. The idea is invoking an emotional response. What's really interesting about social media, and this goes across any industry, is it's being considered and called the most powerful advertising product since TV started. So when cable TV came out, commercial advertising through television came out, that was the best thing since sliced bread. Companies were flocking to TV. It was so affordable for them to advertise that way, and it became the real mainstream source for commercial marketing. That transitioned and went into Google when Google started doing the Google AdWords or the pay-per-click campaigns. Amazon is the biggest company that really capitalized on that. That's really how Amazon took off. It was a combination between the user experience and being in front of them in all spaces. So back when Google AdWords started, they were paying roughly a penny a click, which is now up to $3 to $7 or $3 to $8 per click, depending on the keywords that you're looking at. And you can see how it's become more commercialized, and more and more companies and corporations are spending marketing dollars in Google AdWords, which has really driven the price up and makes it cost prohibitive for an individual realtor to really advertise there. I mean, you could spend thousands and thousands of dollars every month on Google AdWords and really not have the results. So that's become very costly and less user friendly for the average realtor. So social media is at the start of where Google AdWords started right now. It's no longer at a penny a click, but you're still paying, for a click that would be $5, $6 on Google AdWords, you're paying roughly 40 to 50 cents for that same click through social media. And it still allows you the same capabilities as far as tracking demographics, catering your individual marketing message for a specific audience or demographic. This is really what you can focus on, and you need to educate yourself on it. Large companies and corporations like Amazon did, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, they invest in underpriced attention. So it's bringing attention to their brand at a lower cost than their average marketing technique. When large companies invest in this underpriced attention, it drives the price of that actual advertising up. So the time is now to jump in and learn as much as you can and capitalize on that before it transitions into a different set or it becomes too costly for you to really focus on. If you start now, by the time it does become more costly, you'll have your audience down, you'll have your marketing message down, and you can practically set it and forget it and tweak it every so often, but it will keep your costs down having a good customized marketing message and a good customized audience setup so that you're only utilizing the positive contacts. The creativity of your content, is the true variable to the success of your campaign. So if you have tried advertising on Facebook, social media ads, if you've tried to do that in the past and it hasn't worked, don't give up. Change the content, change the creativity, change the message that you're putting across, change the audience you're trying to reach to increase your reach of who you'll actually get to, and allow yourself to build new demographics of who's actually clicking on it. For example, it's like a game of cat and mouse. So for example, you have this really large audience. Say I want to send this ad to everybody in Pompano Beach. I will utilize, and I'll spend a little bit of money creating this, but I've created this basic ad where I'm putting out there homes in Pompano starting at $75,000. I'm going to get thousands of clicks on that, hundreds of clicks. And of course you can set your budget, but I'm not going to really narrow in and limit that based on someone who's likely to buy, or between this age, or renting, or buying, or getting married. I'm not really going to zero in on that. I'm going to say consumers in Pompano Beach. That's my audience. And I will spend money on generating clicks to that. But what Facebook is doing is utilizing all the people that have clicked on that advertisement to build a custom audience, because those people who clicked on that ad were obviously interested in homes in Pompano Beach. Even if it was as low as 75,000, 150,000, whatever you put in there, you're building a contact database to create an audience of similar people or alike customers that you can then push and focus in on that audience. And that spend will be highly worth it. But it takes some money to create that demographic. Instead of you trying to figure that out behind the scenes, it's a lot easier to throw a little bit of money on it, generating that audience, to then focus on people who have like tendencies or like behaviors while they're searching social media or the internet. Facebook is incredibly intrusive, so utilize it. And now don't be scared. Be humble, okay? Whether you're starting right now and have 0 followers, or you've been doing social media and you have 1,000 followers, regardless of where you fall in there, don't be scared. Jump in and just start. 3 things that you want to think about before you do start social media advertising. Number 1, above all, know your customer. Know the ideal customer for the campaign that you're trying to reach. For example, if you're trying to market homes or for buyers in Miami-Dade County, understand what the home buyers are looking for in Miami-Dade County, or even more specific, in Miami Beach or Brickell. If you're looking to advertise in Orlando, understand what the marketplace is generating and what buyers are interested in that marketplace. That's number 1. Number 2, know more about your consumer than they know about themselves, like their wants, their needs, what they're actually going to want. It may not be what they're thinking about right now, but it's something that you know they're going to want, or you know they're going to need. Think about that. Put yourself in their shoes. If you were buying a house today, what would you be thinking about? Poll your friends, ask your neighbors. What would they think about? Run some of the ads and do split testing. Create 4 different campaigns and send them out to your friends, send them out to your family, and say, which one would you click on? And help them use your friends, use your sphere to help generate a more effective marketing campaign. Or create all 4 ads and put them all out there with the same audience and see which one performs better. And then you can cater your marketing message along the lines of that advertisement and continue to dive further in and split test more. This is all part of the education process. You have to go through some of this in order to generate. But again, it is much less costly than utilizing a Google AdWords, or utilizing a service to go out there and post for you, or a service to go out there like Realtor.com and generate contacts. The average contact on Realtor.com or Zillow is $150 per contact. You can create roughly 150 to 300 contacts through social media, or clicks through social media, for the equivalent of 1 contact through Realtor.com or Zillow. So really utilizing and honing in on this social media tactic is incredible. Incredibly powerful. The third key item that you want to think about before starting is creating an irresistible offer. So what could you offer to a consumer that is irresistible, where it's a no-brainer, kind of like getting 100% commission for $59 or $79 a month of transaction? It's creating an irresistible offer that brings that consumer to you, and then you have to sell yourself. You have to provide that value and educate them, guide them along the way. That's what the whole point of this industry is really about. Tammy, to answer your question, training focused on Facebook setup, yes, we have done some in the past. Take a look at our education tab under the professional development section. Scroll through, there are 2 training sessions on that. I didn't go in that session as basic as creating a Facebook page. It was more about leveraging a Facebook page and different advertising methods and concepts to think about, and I actually ran through creating an advertisement through there. If you'd like some personal hands-on attention on your personal Facebook page and how you can set that up, or different things that we can tweak, let's bring that up at the hands-on help session later. Actually, it's next month at this point, but let's bring that up at the hands-on help, or come on in and set an appointment with us. We're happy to go through it with you. In the meantime, watch that video on the professional development section, or on our YouTube channel. All of these trainings that get recorded are placed on our website, but they're also placed on our YouTube channel. So you can watch them and you can actually refer other agents outside the company to watch them. All of these trainings are public on our YouTube channel. Going back. So the last item after social media, I'm not going to beat that any further. So out-of-state networking. This is an interesting one that many realtors really aren't working on. Who moves to Florida? Who moves to Florida? Everyone in Florida, for the most part, is from somewhere else. The minority of the population down here are native Floridians. For example, I'm from Washington, D.C. People in this office, I think we have one native Floridian. We have some from Atlanta, some from Texas, some from Alabama, one from Puerto Rico. They're all from somewhere else. And if you look at the population, there's this definite trend as to where they're coming from. The Northeast is probably the largest hub, I'd say, from Washington, D.C. up through Rhode Island, Maine, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. That's probably a large chunk, but I've met tons of people down here from Chicago. So what I mean by this out-of-state networking is contacting large brokerages and infiltrating and speaking with not necessarily a broker, but the individual agents, pulling a contact list. A lot of agents utilize email blast systems for putting out brokers open information or listing price reductions or bonuses that they're offering on their current listings here. You can utilize those same systems to broadcast a message to a county in New York, a county in Massachusetts. Some of them are even statewide. For a very, very low cost, you can blast some type of message. And it's really, your message should be focused on why should someone from there invest or buy or move down here. Think about the changes to income tax that have been modified. The property tax deductions that have been modified, the caps that have been placed on people that are living in places like New York, and how expensive it's going to be for them next year when that's implemented. Those people are looking to move to places like Florida that doesn't have state income tax. That is a huge market that you can leverage. Send out some marketing materials to brokers in New York about relocations. Work a referral agreement. It's huge the amount of business that goes between New York and Florida, Georgia and Florida, Massachusetts and Florida. It's incredible. Colorado and Florida as well. We've had some of our Colorado agents refer business back and forth. So that's a good utilization. Try and spend some time on that. That is something that you could spend either very little or nothing on to generate some additional contacts. International buyers. This is one of the most common questions that I get is there's a lot of money coming into Florida from international buyers. How do I get in touch, or how can I capitalize with international buyers? And there are so many different ways. So many different ways, and you don't necessarily need to speak the language. A really interesting statistic that NAR, the National Association of Realtors, put out from last year was that 72% of foreign buyers worked with a non-foreign language speaking realtor. So they spoke with an English speaking realtor. 72% of foreign transactions were done with an English speaking realtor. That means you don't have to speak the language to make it work. You have different ways that you can utilize that. The wealthy individuals from foreign countries quite frequently do speak English. Don't be scared. Be bold. Put yourself out there. The worst that can happen is someone says no, or you don't have a contact, or you have to partner up with a friend who can translate in that language, or with a realtor who speaks that language, another team member who speaks that language, or with a broker in that said country that does speak English, which allows you to work a referral out with them and have them be the middleman or have a three-way conversation, allowing you to pass your message on directly with them translating. Don't be afraid. Networking with a purpose. Now, it doesn't just mean going out there and networking with people that are other international agents or with international investment corporations or organizations, which is still a good idea. But think about your local RCA, your Realtor Commercial Alliance chapter, which is done through your local board of realtors, along with your Global Business Alliance Committee. These are great networks for you to go in and speak to other agents and find out where their marketing efforts are going, the success rates, somewhat of a mastermind round table where you can pull ideas from other people and network with other individuals that possibly do speak the language in the country you're trying to market to, or perhaps you speak the language and can generate a referral with them and helping them capitalize on that. Don't shy away from it just because it's other realtors. You can gain quality information. Next is going through the CIPS designation for NAR, the CIPS, Certified International Property Specialist. This is familiarizing yourself with the international purchase process and how investors from foreign countries, foreign nations, can set themselves up to purchase property or leverage an investment to have a U.S. visa or a green card here locally. I would really recommend that if you'd like to focus on international buyers. It's a really interesting class. I did have a time to sit in on one of those, although I did not go through the full designation. Excuse me. Social media, again, we're going to hit that one again. It's a great way to network with international realtors and brokers from foreign countries regarding the perks and benefits and why investing in our area or our market is really good for their contacts. It's giving them marketing information and materials for them to try and sell more, to bring in new contacts to you, to go out to their current investors who have money and they're investing locally or looking to move their money offshore or move their money to the United States where it's a safer investment than possibly where they are. You can reach them by doing social media, following them, searching for them on Google, and then following their social media pages, reaching out to them in that manner. I guarantee you every brokerage that you go to in a foreign country has someone that speaks English. So don't be afraid to reach out, okay? Attractive professional marketing materials. International investors or people looking to relocate to the United States love new construction. They love that beautiful American construction with the big colors and beautiful spaces and fine finishes. They love that stuff. Developers will allow you, and D.R. Horton's one of them who's already approved it. Developers will allow you to utilize their marketing materials as long as you're not utilizing their brand. They don't want you to use their brand, and I don't want you to use the brand. I don't want you to use their brand because it's marketing them and they will contact them directly, but they don't want you to use their brand because they're trusting you on the representation of their company and their brand and the liabilities that are tied into it. So they'll allow you to use their photos or their flyers, but just rebrand them for yourself, okay? Send those to those international brokers. Utilize those images on social media marketing that you're focusing in a foreign country, which you can do. You can utilize social media to advertise internationally. It's an incredibly powerful tool. Again, it's the most underpriced attention no matter where your efforts are being focused. Learn as much as you can about it. That is the trend right now. Don't put all of your eggs in Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor.com. You're overpaying for the attention, and that trend will go down. It's already started showing. Realtor.com zip code prices just went up over the last couple months. So on your next renewal, if you're already doing it, you're going to see your zip code prices going up like they commonly do. Learn social media in the meantime so you have diversified marketing methods, okay? Now, another way that you can find out about new developments that to reach out to regarding marketing materials is a program called Crane Spotters, CRANESPOTTERS. Crane Spotters is really interesting. It tells you about developments that are going through licensing and permitting approval to start. So you see some of them beforehand. It's also the ones that are under construction, potentially with floor plans on there, with marketing photos, contact information. It's really pulling all eggs into one basket as far as where to go to find out about developments and be familiar with your farming area. The last item I'll talk about is off the blaze trail. So don't focus your marketing efforts for international buyers in markets that are already saturated with realtors trying to do so. For example, Canada. Tons of agents focus on Canada. Venezuela, Brazil. There's tons of money coming from those areas, but they're very concentrated with realtors. I would go off the beaten path and go to Chile, for example, or Colombia, or Argentina. Think further, go to Italy, go to the UK. All these people are looking to invest in foreign nations where money is safer in real estate. So utilize some of these less traveled countries where you will be the sole contact or a different idea that they haven't seen. Try and be unique. Differentiate your marketing message so that you're not fighting with a bunch of realtors like you're doing here locally. Commercial and marketing for commercial properties, commercial buyers, commercial renters, commercial listings, commercial landlords. Utilize the network that you already have. Again, advertising K company listings. Go onto our network, go onto our closed Facebook group. Ask who has commercial listings. Go on the MLS, pull the office records and all the MLS IDs for your area. Pull all of the commercial listings, whether it's a rental or a sale. Commercial leasing opportunities are extremely lucrative. Let's say somebody rents $1,000 office on a 3-year lease. That's $3,600. That's $36,000 over the 3 years that you're collecting a commission on. Keep in mind, you get paid on the gross income. So you're getting paid on the total of the 3 years, not just like on a typical residential rental in South Florida where you're making 1 month from the 1 year. You make a percentage of the 3 years. It becomes even more lucrative when you're renting in a larger space or a retail space where they're paying $3,000 in rent on a 5-year lease. That's incredible. That's $36,000 a year over 5 years. $150, that's $180,000 sale right there on a rental. And the documentation is extremely simple. If you're not familiar, ask for help. We have some mentors, commercial mentors that are available that'll walk you through the process for a commission split, or take it on yourself and come in and ask questions at the office. We have templated letters of intent for both leasing and purchase that we're help guide you. We're happy to help guide you. So utilize some of these resources that are available to you. Advertise these K company listings on Craigslist, on Facebook, on Instagram. Leverage the network that you have and put them out there. Okay. Another really neat idea is there are many, many residential agents that will not, won't, absolutely not, don't even ask me, I'm not going into commercial, a residential agent. So networking with residential agents and marketing yourself, if you want to focus on commercial, marketing yourself as a commercial agent for residential realtors to refer to. Sometimes it's scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So you need to keep in mind that you would have to refer things back and forth. You may need to refer them a residential customer in order for them to reciprocate and refer you a commercial customer. Sometimes you can't be in every place at once. Create these relationships, leverage these relationships that you get in these networking events with residential agents if you'd like to focus on commercial. Prospecting. Prospecting for commercial is very different than prospecting for residential. You're not necessarily cold calling a whole bunch of businesses saying, are you looking for a new location? Or are you looking to rent out your place? Are you looking to sell your unit? That's not necessarily what you're going to focus on. You will make thousands and thousands of calls and waste your time. Think about this in a different way, okay? Think of, or go find a commercial space that is in your area, in your market area, a retail space, an office space, a building for rent, something along those lines, and think about what type of business would really fit well in here. Let's say it's been a hair salon in the past, and someone with a hair salon is really going to be able to utilize the space with minimal improvements, and it's really just a no-brainer. You then take that concept, put together a single flyer, which you can do on Canva, you can do on any of these email blast programs, and download that PDF flyer, go around and contact other hair salons, maybe ones that are slightly smaller that may be looking to expand, or individual hairstylists, individual people that work inside of other studios that may be looking to go start their own. And that's really targeted marketing, which could generate to a large payday for yourself. Targeted prospecting, finding a specific commercial space that fits a specific purpose and marketing to those individuals. Where were we? Okay, niche specific. That's what I was just talking about. So it's prospecting to those niche specific types. Now, in addition to the niche specific industries, there's also specific types of commercial properties. For example, there are commercial spaces in the sense of retail stores, there's office spaces, there are industrial warehouses, auto body shops, auto mechanic shops, restaurants, businesses, things along these lines. Don't try and be a jack of all trades. Pick a specific niche and focus on that. Go out and find the 5 best auto body spaces that are available in your area, and go out to other auto body shops or maybe franchises and chains and pitch them on a new location. Maybe there's no Tires Plus in this area and you feel it's a high traffic space that they could really benefit, go to their local space, contact the regional manager, and try and pitch them on that. And utilize one marketing message to go out to all of these niche specific industries. That was just an example, okay? If you're focusing on commercial, take part in the Realtors Commercial Alliance that is available through your local Realtor Association. It allows you to network with other commercial agents and brokers, and it's really a very closed off network. In order for yourself to break into the commercial industry, the commercial network, you need to make relationships with these other brokers that will be open to sell yours or lease your space that you're marketing, but in addition, will allow you to market theirs and will be more receptive to an offer that you're bringing to the table. It tends to be a very closed network, so you need to break your way into that. And finally, Realtor.org. There are lots of tools and training videos and guides that are available on Realtor.org. I believe it's Realtor.org/commercial. But if you just go to Realtor.org and search in the top right corner commercial, it will provide you a large database of guides and tools and programs and networks and classes that you can really take advantage of to familiarize and educate yourself if you're trying to break into the commercial section of the industry. So we'll move on from commercial, and we're going to go into lead follow-up. This is one of my favorites. So lead follow-up. The typical realtor falls off from following up with a potential customer after the second or third contact. The fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh contact drop down to under a double-digit percentage where you're really not competing with many people. So if you're setting up a very consistent and thorough follow-up method, you're much more likely to actually communicate with that customer and convert them to an actual buyer or seller. So for lead follow-up, number one is, again, that CRM. It's utilizing and leveraging that CRM to benefit you in following up with your customers on your behalf without you having to put forth that effort. It has all of your lead sources pouring into that one CRM, which allow you to place them on a lead drip campaign if you're not able to communicate with them directly, or once you're able to find out their direct wants and needs when you communicate with them, it allows you to place them onto a specific campaign that focuses on what their goals are. Let's say it's buying a first home. You're going to continue to send them listing alerts. You're going to continue to hit them with first-time home buyer benefits, discounts, FHA programs, FHA updates, things like that. You're going to continue to hit them with. Excuse me. If you find that they're a potential seller, you're going to hit them with home selling tips, preparing your home to sell, market statistics in their area, things along these lines, just quick hits. Is there anything you need from me? How can I help? Are you ready to sell? This home just sold in your neighborhood. Things along these lines, staying in front of your people, okay? Double call. So let's say you're advertising on Realtor.com. I guarantee several people, when they get a lead, they call once, the person doesn't answer, they leave a message. Big mistake. Don't do that. You've tried to pitch yourself by voicemail for that consumer to call you back. Here's a piece of advice. You get a lead that comes in from Zillow, Trulia, or Realtor.com. Pick up the phone and call them. They don't answer. You get a voicemail. Hang up. Don't leave a message. Count to 10. Call them again. Call them again. How many times has someone called you once, you didn't answer, you didn't know the number, you didn't answer, but then they call right back and you think in your mind, that could be an important phone call. They're calling twice. It must be important. I'm going to answer. I'd be willing to bet that the majority of people that you double call answer on that second call versus having to leave a voicemail. And on that second call, I would leave a voicemail. Now, the voicemail I leave is not very detailed. It's more about, hey, this is Jonathan. Realtor.com gave me your information as an experienced professional in the area. I'm here to help you with your home buying process. Give me a call back. Here's my number. I have some information for you. Or, hey, this is Jonathan. I just got your information from Realtor.com. I have some very important information from you. Call me back as soon as you can. Here's my number. Something to invoke a limited time offer or something to invoke some type of emotional response that they have to call you, that they'll lose out if they don't call you. It's very important to invoke some type of emotional response with all marketing efforts, okay? Next is that drip campaign follow-up, utilizing that CRM, again, going back to that, to to utilize a varying method of contact. So varying how you reach out to these people, whether it's by phone, by text message, by email, by video text message, by social media, all different aspects hitting them. You may hit different types of demographics. Let's say you have a millennial coming in. That millennial is more likely to respond to a text message or a social media message than they are an email or a voicemail. I, for one, am very guilty with not checking my voicemails very frequently. And that's just part of being a millennial. I'm more likely to read a text message and respond to that than I am to answer a voicemail. So think about your target audience. If you're dealing with a baby boomer, for example, they're more likely to respond to a phone or a voicemail or a personal letter than they are an email or a text message, or probably not even having social media. So know your audience, know more about them than they know about themselves, and understand how you can leverage that. So maybe you have a 10 days of pain. That's a common term, where you're hitting your initial contact every day for 10 days. Maybe you have a 10 days of pain that's focused on millennials, where it's a text message every day. And they become shorter and shorter with just, is this Steve? That's your text message. That's it. You're just trying to get a response. You're trying to start a conversation. Maybe you're focused more on the home seller or the family that's looking to step up or trade up in the size of their home. Focus your marketing efforts on where they would be focused. Your drip campaign should be focused on them. It could be a phone call the first day, a double call the first day, a text message the following day, an email the day after that, a video text message the day after that, an email the day after that one. Essentially changing the different ways that you're hitting these people in different aspects to increase your chances that you will get a response and be able to generate some type of conversation. Next, after those 10 days of pain, typically you'll want to follow up 14 days after the initial contact, and then every 30 days following that for a calendar year. And what you're going to hit in those 30 days could just be market statistics, could be marketing updates, could be just I'm here, here's a program that's out there for you, or you were interested in this area, here's some updates in that area, something that could create some type of response if they're still in the market. Or it could just be something simple. Are you still in the market to buy a home? I'd love to have coffee. Let's grab coffee. I have some information for you. Something very simple that creates an emotional response. You find that there's a common pattern here. And it's not because I'm crazy. It's because it actually works. Think about invoking an emotional response. Think about what has encouraged you to reach out to a business, or encouraged you to go back to the same hairstylist or barber every time you need to get your hair cut. It's because you've created a relationship. You feel comfortable. That's an emotional response. If you go into a business and you're not comfortable standing in there, or you go into a restaurant and you're uncomfortable sitting at the tables or with the atmosphere that's around, you're not going to go back to that restaurant. It's the emotional atmosphere. It's the ambiance. It's the experience that has been created. It's that user experience, whether you're dining in a restaurant or shopping at Target. It's all about the user experience, creating a positive sense of emotion. Okay. Following up with your leads. And this is more about following up with past customers as opposed to initial leads. Personal notes or follow-ups. There is no reason to focus all of your efforts into generating new contacts, because generating new contacts, you're fighting every single day to find someone new, instead of rehashing and following up on the people you've already created relationships with. For example, if you meet someone, you make a friendship, if you aren't constantly talking to that person, which you should want to if they're your friend, if you're not doing something with them, talking with them, or interacting with them, the friendship goes down, the relationship goes down. It's the same thing with a real estate customer. If you abandon them, you don't talk to them, you don't do something with them, you don't reach out to them, you don't continue to maintain that relationship, their relationship with you goes down. And then when it's time for them to buy or sell again, you're not at the forefront of your mind. They don't have that emotional response or that emotional feeling where they have to go back to you because you have this relationship. They were my realtor, but we became great friends. Or they became my realtor and we've hung out with them and they're always around, they're always available for me. They answer the phone, they answer the message, they respond to my email, they're constantly sending me information. Something along those lines. You're creating some type of emotional magnet where they feel compelled to come back to you. They feel compelled to refer other people to you, which leads me into the next section, relationships. It's maintaining a relationship. If you don't maintain a relationship, there is no relationship there. I hate to use this one, but if I don't pay attention to my wife, the relationship goes down. If I'm not constantly doing something, if I'm not constantly creating that emotion with her, if I'm not going out or having a conversation or sharing a common interest, that relationship goes down. It's the same thing with friendships. It's the same thing with real estate customers. It's the same thing with prospects. It's the same thing with people on your team. If you're forming a team, it's maintaining that relationship with them where you're either improving or you're declining. There is no maintaining status quo. That is not possible. You're either increasing your contact and the quality of your relationship, or you're decreasing. Testimonials. Utilize the business that you've done in the past to leverage yourself for business to come. The only places where you cannot draft or write your own testimonials are Google, social media, Realtor.com, and Zillow. Give them those options. Focus all of your efforts to generating reviews and Yelp. I didn't mention Yelp. Focus all of your follow-up and your thank yous and your gifts, your closing gifts, your follow-ups after closing, your housewarming gifts, all of those towards getting something back. Share your experience. Help me help others. You had a positive experience, please do me a favor. Share your experience on my Zillow profile. Share your experience on my Google Place. Share your experience on my Facebook business page. That will help create a positive or emotional response for others that are potentially looking at utilizing you for your service or searching for you. You can then take those reviews, place them on your website with some data behind them, some SEO data behind them, which you'll learn in that Websites for Realtors class on the 21st or 29th. I believe the 29th is more focused on that. To leverage that and increase the optimization of your website, increase the quality score of your traffic so your cost per click on your social media and your Google campaigns drop slightly. Increase the reach that you have by utilizing the relationships you've already created. Plain and simple. The last one that I'll talk about here is mailers. I have always been a big opponent for spending money on physical postcards and mailers. However, I have seen an increase lately. I did see the results go down for quite a while, but I've seen an increase lately in leveraging listings, open houses, sold properties in farming a specific neighborhood. But the key is being consistent, plain and simple. If you send one postcard and hope to get a deal out of it, not going to happen. Don't even try. You need to pick a target market, which that program I spoke about, Remind, is a good tool to utilize and focus on where a good neighborhood, where a good farming area could be for you based on turnover, likelihood to sell. It helps you formulate your marketing message. But staying in front of that neighborhood, utilizing the every door direct mail service from the postal service. It's extremely affordable for utilizing that. You'll spend a few $100s a month staying in front of these people. However, the return after month 2, 3, 4, you should see some really positive results. And based on that cost of a couple $100s a month, how many contacts or how many deals you really have to close for it to be worth your while? One deal could cover you for 6 to 12 months. Okay, so I want to talk real quick about some upcoming events. You have our next big class is May 31st regarding how to utilize paperless pipeline. June 8th is writing the as-is contract, the current revision, some important clauses and some addenda that had been modified in the last revision last year, just updating you on some of that stuff. And if you've never written a contract, this is a great one to attend and ask questions. June 15th is a fun one. This is our Fort Lauderdale developer crawl. So this is 32 agents. It's limited to 32 spaces that we're all going to get together, and we're going to go new development to new development, starting in Pompano Beach, going down through Fort Lauderdale, hitting a 45-minute explainer or demonstration from the in-house sales office, which again, open house. Think about open house and marketing materials. We're going to go location to location, getting information about what they have to offer, and light drinks and hors d'oeuvres in each location. We will culminate with a happy hour at the just off of the W Hotel at their new Mexican restaurant. Margaritas, here we go. And then of course, June 21st and 29th, the Websites for Realtors class. classes, excuse me, which again, I feel are extremely important if you're going to utilize any type of internet marketing. Does anyone have any questions? Got a question here on the chat. Do we do developer crawls further south in Broward or into Miami-Dade? Yes, we will. We're doing the Fort Lauderdale one first because it's in our backyard, but the next one will be Miami. Thank you, Lisette, for the question. So keep an eye out. Lisette, if you're not a member already of the closed Facebook group, the Cake Company Realty Florida, that's where the events typically get announced. So you'll stay at the forefront of all the events and networking events and happy hours and classes that we have going on through that page, either on there or the event calendar on the sphere on the back end of the website. Okay, thanks guys for coming in. Oh, here's another one. Can you advertise other Cake Company listings on your own website as a featured listing? Absolutely. In fact, if you have an IDX website, you're able to advertise those any listing from the MLS as a featured listing. That's part of your IDX agreement through the MLS. So you don't have to limit that to Cake Company listings, but if you'd like to do something unique, you can definitely utilize the Cake Company listings on your website. Okay.